Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Reseller's Journey. Here is your host, eBay Joey.
Welcome to A Reseller's Journey Season 2. I am your host, eBay Joey. Today's guest is a reseller on multiple platforms. You can see his journey on his Instagram stories. In addition, he has over 700 followers on Instagram. He goes by the name Augustine Jr. underscore 8, but his teammates call him AJ. Welcome and thank you for being on the show.
What's going on? Glad to be here.
Hey man, I'm excited, man. I know we were supposed to link up because of where you're located and where I used to live, but unfortunately, it never happened to meet in person. But now we're doing an interview, man.
Yeah, no, definitely was just timing and busyness, and eBay took up a lot of my time, so it was a little hard right there.
It's all good, man. But we stayed in contact. Now there's an opportunity to for you to come on the show. So very excited, man. You ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. So how'd you come up with your Instagram name, Augustine Jr. underscore 8?
Um, well, Augustine Jr. is my real name. My real father's his name's Augustine, so that was the name I was given, and then underscore 8 in high school when I played football. My varsity years, junior and senior, I was number 8, so it just put two
Yeah.
and two together, and that's what happened.
Okay. You didn't want anything to do with reselling? Just want to keep it simple?
Yeah, simple. I mean, I might change it, but I don't know because I'm gonna have my idea in the future with Instagram is to both have reselling and personal life. So I don't know yet, but maybe it'll change.
Okay, cool. What position did you play uh, in high school?
So I played inside linebacker junior and senior year, and then I did halfback, but it was more of like we did a wing T offense. So a lot of our running backs did a lot of blockings and stuff like that. So
Okay,
that was halfback and inside linebacker.
cool, man. So where are you based out of, AJ?
So I'm based out of Modesto, California, right now.
Okay. Yeah, were you born and raised in Modesto?
No, so backtrack. So I was born and raised in Winters, California, which
Okay.
is not too far to where I'm at right now. It's a little over by Sacramento. And then I was raised there till about 12. Then I moved over to Escalon, which is a little neighbor town over by Modesto. Went to school there, went to high school over there at Escalon High, and then after I graduated, I did a year at Stockton at a JC. Tried it out, really wasn't my thing. School was not for me. I tried to do football in JC and just fell out of it. And then so I moved to Modesto after that, and I've been here in Modesto since what is it? At least 2017.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so been here for a couple of years now.
Yeah, for people that are not familiar, with cities in California, that's in the Central Valley. So just to kind of give them a little geographical perspective. So
hmm
AJ, are you selling part time or full time?
So it's part time. I have a day job that I'm doing. Got to pay bills and stuff like that, and just not at
Hmm.
that point where I can go full time. But that's definitely the plan.
So the goal is to go full time
Yeah,
in reselling.
for sure, for
Okay.
sure.
So what's your background? What are you doing right now? Like what's the occupation?
So yeah, the day job is I work for my basically a family's friend's cousin. He has a tree service company.
Hmm.
So we're going around cleaning up trees, cutting them down, whatever the customer needs done. We go over there and get that taken care of. So that's the day job.
Nice, nice. So what motivated you to start reselling part time?
Um, One, I've worked since I graduated high school. So right out of high school, even before, with just family situation, I had to bring in some kind of income. So basically, I've been working ever since high school, and with doing that, I've realized that working for someone is tedious, comes with a lot
Yeah.
of hardships and stuff like that, and um, just realized, especially with the job that I'm doing now, it's a tough job. Like, without a doubt, it's a lot of physical labor. It's a lot of, dirt and nastiness. And so I think part of it has been, one, working for someone for so long, and two, just where I'm at right now. It's just like, yeah, I want to get out of here. Like, I want to build something for myself. So,
Yeah.
little mix of all that.
Yeah, man, I realize that, similar boat, when you have a boss and someone's telling you what to do and you can't really make a decision. And that's one thing that I enjoy about reselling, even though it's for me right now at the moment, it's a hustle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to implement a new policy, a new procedure, I want to price this at that, I want to do whatever it is that I want to do in my hustle, I can do it. But with my occupation, it's like whatever my boss tells me, it's like I got to do it whether I agree or not. So I could definitely sympathize with resellers like that are part-timers that want to do it full-time just to have that, that power to make your own decisions.
Yeah, and I could just visualize what it's like, and I see all these other full-time resellers, and just the freedom that you get with it and the opportunities that are there. It's just, yeah, it's just always there, and it's just exciting. So definitely something I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, the sky's the limit. I think for people that, even for part-timers, you are limited with time because let's say you work full time, you got your 40, and then if you want to do another 40 in the part-time hustle, you're only going to be able to do so much. You only can maximize so much. But then if you don't have the daytime job or the occupation, imagine that 40 plus another 40 with your full-time hustle. I mean, you can do some damage, man. You can be as they say, a straight killer.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's hard sometimes thinking like that too, because you're so eager to get there, and in a way, like, you catch yourself beating yourself up because you're like, dude, I could be doing some damage if I had.
Yeah, definitely. So what platforms are you currently selling on?
So right now it's just Amazon, really. I was doing eBay the start of last year in August.
Mhm.
Did a lot of, like Marshall's shoes, flipping them on eBay. Um, I did okay. I've realized that it just took up a lot of my time with, already having a day job and stuff like that. And I don't think I was just happy with it. I know that there's always a lot of potential in that, but for me, it wasn't clicking. And so I've always heard good things about Amazon and the scalability and the time that it frees up, kind of. And so I've been doing that ever since the middle of December. So that's currently all I'm doing right now is Amazon.
Yeah, what items are you selling on Amazon?
So right now, Amazon, basically anything that I'm able to sell.
Okay.
Anything that sells well, obviously, anything I can make a profit off of, anything that, with all the restrictions that I'm able to sell. Cool thing too. So a little like backstory of what it is exactly that I'm doing. Um, so there's this software out, these couple guys, it's called LaCroix software.
Mhm.
Um, and the way they're doing their business is with Amazon obviously dominating, and eBay slowly, maybe not fully, but slowly kind of dying, or maybe just getting less popular and stuff like that. There's an arbitrage of finding eBay products that people are either trying to get rid of, liquidating, not selling as much because there's not as many buyers or whatever. That software will actually find those products and give you kind of a rough estimate of a profit and stuff like that. And so that's basically what I've been doing for my
Yeah.
arbitrage is eBay to Amazon.
Oh, okay, that's nice, man. And is that software free?
Yeah, so it's currently free. It's been free for, let's see, I've been using it for like a month and a half. I know they still had it a couple months before, but I do know that they are going to start charging because, one, it's been doing it's a really good software. I give them a lot of credit for creating it and keeping it up to date. And um, but so soon, I believe, and at like 14 days, it'll go up to 97, which it seems pricey for sure, but I would hands down do it if I, keep going.
Yeah, is that an annual, the 97?
No, actually 90. So that's, 97 is going to be a monthly thing.
Okay. So
Yeah.
$97.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little pricey. It's more than like your inventory lab ones, which is like 49 and stuff like that. But it's definitely a great tool if you're going and doing that model at least.
Yeah, and have you kind of got ungated, because you were talking about the restrictions and when
Mm-hmm.
you're starting off, but have you been able to get ungated in anything?
So I have been. So there's one. So Pet Safe. It's just like a pet brand for a lot of like collars, like shot collars and stuff like that. I actually currently just got ungated in those, um, and that was after like 35 sales. So I don't know. Maybe it was an auto ungate thing. Maybe I just found it, but I'm assuming after those 35 sales or whatever, that's what ungated it. And then I know there was like 2 or 3 that I got ungated for, but obviously no big brands yet. And really just, like I said, searching for a crap ton of items and then just checking to see if I can sell them. And then if so, then shoot the shot.
Yeah, so what's the business model look like? What are you trying to accomplish? Is it a dollar amount, a percentage? What's the goal?
Um, well, let's see. So my actual just goal in general with the business, at least for this year,
Hmm.
is just to get to at least 100K sales. So,
Okay.
that's just sales. Um, I would love to get to at least the 30% profit on that.
Hmm.
Obviously pushing for that, trying to keep a system down where I'm only buying products that are going to lead me to that. Um, but yeah, that's the main goal is 100K, and then in sales, and then obviously try to reduce or what's it called, supplement my actual income that I'm making now, so I can work for myself. So that's the
So
second goal under that.
yeah, and how are the margins looking right now? Are you on track with that 30%?
Yeah, so I'm at I'd have to actually do the averages, but I
Yeah.
have a lot of 45% and then 25% in between that window. So yeah, you probably average it out. You're probably looking at least 30, something like that. So then that's one thing that I'm being new to this business, I'm wanting to get
Yeah.
a little bit better on my accounting and stuff like that. So I'm definitely trying to. So far, so good.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely a goal. I think it's definitely achievable. I hate to say, it's not possible, because I feel like, or it's not impossible, because I think everything is possible, AJ, as long as you set your
Mm-hmm.
mind, you have your goal, your work ethic and all that. But are you on pace to hit that 100K this year? Is it going pretty good for you?
Yeah, so it's going well. The only thing is, especially starting out, is so obviously, I mean, if anybody does not know, but with Amazon, the way they pay, it's not like eBay where you make a sale, you get that money instantly. So you do biweekly, you get your
Okay.
funds after the item delivers to the customer, and they have like 7 days to accept or return or whatever. Then you get that funds into your Amazon account, and then you have to wait on your biweekly payments and stuff like that. So with that, I'll have potentially 1,500 or whatever dollar amount is getting held up into that, and now I have capital that's getting held into it that I can't spend yet. So that's the biggest hurdle right now, is not being able to like instantly keep churning the money in.
Yeah. Are
So
you doing okay?
I'm
I'm sorry.
on.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So like, yeah, so just the like constant churning of reinvesting and reinvesting isn't as quick as maybe eBay. So that's my only hurdle right now. So like right now, so my first month in January, I did 4,800 in sales. I need to gradually progress at least 2K, something like that, to eventually get to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I need more capital. And so like credit cards is what I'm looking into to um, eventually try to get a little business loan or something like that. But um, I'm on track, but I'd like to get more secure with, more buying power, basically.
Yeah, it's I think that's for even for a lot of resellers that start off in the beginning, AJ. It's just that capital, right? Because we do have bills. We have some of us have car notes. You got to pay for the rent and food and all that. So it's not like you're just able to put all this money straight into the
Mm-hmm.
business. But I think that's where for me, I was like, I need to sell something. I need to sell something, and sometimes you take less money just because it's like you want to ramp up, and there's different approaches. There's no right or wrong way, but I
Yeah,
think
for
for
sure.
me, yeah, I'm all about that organic growth, man, and just reinvesting, kind of like that compound. So yeah, I think for people that are not too familiar with Amazon, there's two options. There's like FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, and then there's, I believe it's merchant fulfillment.
Fulfilled. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the abbreviations on that one. But which one are you doing?
I'm doing strictly FBA,
Okay.
solely just because of the time that you get freed up with. You make a sale, they deal with it, not you.
Yeah, oh, definitely, man. I think that's key. Even I just started selling on Poshmark, and one thing that I like is that the customer has roughly, I think, 3 days to, if there's something wrong with it, they want to file a claim or whatever, and then after that, it's theirs, man. And I think with eBay, it's like you have 30 days, 60 days, sometimes 90 days, depending on how you have it set up. But there's always that fear, AJ, like, hey, a return can come my way. And for me, I'm always looking at my feedback where it's like, okay, this was a great sales, a great profit, for this item. Did they leave some feedback? Because once they do that, I'm like, okay, it's locked in. But how are the returns with Amazon? How has that been with you?
So I recently just dealt with, let's see, three of them.
Okay.
Um, so out of 40 sales, three have been returned. Um, two have been just simply my fault for not inspecting them enough. It was used items. Again, I guess they were, defective and not working well. And sometimes that may just be the buyer. But so for only three, two of them were, bigger ticket items. So that kind of sucked a little bit. But like you said, that the business of reselling, you're going to get returns. It's going to happen. You're just going to have to learn from it and, take the lesson from it. So like for me, since it was defective, then next time I need to just inspect it better. Um, but yeah, it's all part of what we're doing. You're going to get returns.
And does Amazon ding you for that? Like, does it kind of hurt you with your metrics?
So the only way it actually hurts your metrics is if someone leaves a defective like rate. So if they say that the item in itself was defective, then
Mhm.
you sold an item as used, working, or new, working, but really it was defective. So now you didn't do your due diligence to, you know, make sure that it was okay, since Amazon is so customer based. So that is the only way. If you get just a normal return, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Sometimes just, like for like a Wi-Fi modem, just happens that, it wasn't compatible for your thing or for theirs. And so they just return it and you don't
Okay.
get dinged. Yeah.
Now, you work full time. You're putting in your 40. I don't know if you do any overtime, but let's just say you do an extra hour each day. How do you manage to source and then the FBA? Like, take us through the Monday through Friday.
So let's see. So I guess we'll do a little backstory
Yeah.
and just to give you a detail of what it is that I'm planning to do and wanting to do and stuff like that. So I've always been into like fitness and stuff like that. Sports
Mm.
was always big with me, and so I was always in the gym, stuff like that. So um, I currently my main passion is bodybuilding, and
Mm.
so that's part of the reason why I want to work full time on Amazon, to give me more time to be able to go and and follow that passion and stuff like that. And I think regardless, I'm still going to do Amazon for as long as I can. So with that being said, Monday through Friday, it's go to work. I have a morning routine that I do every morning before work. I go to work, come home around 5 o'clock. I shower. I've been starting meditation, so I do that for about 15 minutes, and then I get a meal in me, and then I do any kind of emails, any kind of just updating on the business, and then I go straight to the gym. So like today, I started at, what was it, 6 o'clock, got done at 7:15, came home, ate, prepped some more food for the week, and then I sourced from about 8 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then since I knew that we would have this interview, I obviously try to free up that time to make sure. But if it wasn't, then I would have just kept sourcing until 10. Then 10 o'clock comes, and I've been gradually reading books every night. So that's a ritual that I'm trying to get on and a habit. And so I read from 10 to 10:30, brush my teeth, then hit the hay, then restart, the next day. And then weekends are always different because I don't work on weekends. And so that's the weekends where I'm really hitting it hard with sourcing, really hitting it hard with learning and trying to, create skills that, will better me in the future. So Monday through Friday, it's a little rough, and it's really only like a couple hours of sourcing, but I get as much as I can.
Yeah. What time are you waking up?
So I am waking up at 4:30. 4:30, I wake up. I have this little morning hot water drink with
Yeah.
apple cider vinegar or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Get that down. First 10 minutes after that, I'm reading a book. Right now, I'm reading one of Tony Robbins' books. Just something, knowledgeable, something impactful, something to just start my day off right. Then I go from that to meditation. It's called like priming. It's something I got from Tony Robbins as well. Just trying it out, seeing how it is for me. And I do a couple breathing exercises, then just count a couple of things that I'm grateful for, vision what I needed to get done for the day, and then repeat the goals that I have, for the year, for the week, or whatnot. And then I fill out a morning journal and just kind of get my thoughts out there and whatever is basically on my mind, good or bad, and express those. And then from there, I just check any kind of emails that I can quickly get into, and then eat breakfast and then go to work.
Yeah. So is the book that you're reading at night the same book in the morning, or is it two different books?
So Monday through Friday, it's the same book. It's one of Tony Robbins about unleashing, your great power or whatever. And so it's like a big self-help book. And so Monday through Friday, it's strictly that book. On the weekends, he has a Money Master the Game, and that's a book that I read. That book, in the middle of the day, at night, whenever else I want to read. But I always read the self-help book in the morning just to really jumpstart, positive thinking and stuff like that.
Now, you know, I know with reselling, there's a lot of ups and downs. And I know, when we were talking on the phone about the interview, I think there's a lot of resellers that do get discouraged, especially in the beginning, where it's like, hey, I'm trying to do this. I'm putting in work. I'm visiting stores. I'm not finding what I want to find. I go on Instagram and, people are just killing it. And it's in a different area. Sometimes it's in the same area. But I think that's something that gets overlooked within the reseller community is like health. And I think also mindset, because to do what you're doing, I think you have to be in good health. I mean, recently I'm trying to cut out some carbs, processed sugar, and I noticed that to wake up in the morning, it was it was very hard for me just to kind of spring up out of bed, they say spring chicken, I guess. But now once you start kind of eating the right stuff and putting it in your body, it's like, man, I can wake up earlier now. I feel good. I'm not yawning throughout the day. If I yawn, I'm hungry. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then I can stay up later and do more things. So I definitely agree with you, AJ. I think health is important in reselling because we have only 24 hours in the day, and you do got to sleep, but it's like, how much sleep do you really need, right?
Hmm.
And then, I mean, you can go all day talking about sleep and the different levels
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
sleeping. We're not going to do that, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that it's really important. So I'm glad that, we're bringing it up and we're going to talk about it. But um have you felt like it's really helped your business, your hustle?
Yeah, and so a little bit more of a backstory. So I'm always really good with my diets and stuff like that, and working out a lot. And so I'll say pretty much the whole last year, I have an injury that's always been messing with me, and so I kind of took a break. Didn't really work out at all, and then I kind of got into bad habits of going out every weekend, and this is all before jumping into reselling.
Mm,
And so there was just a point where I felt crappy. I was getting tired all the time. I slept too much, wasn't happy, stuff like that. And so it clicked that it was time to change. And ever since, I've been just feeling this drastic change of like you said, like I can wake up on the dime now when it's 4:30. Like I get 5 to 6 hours of sleep and I'm up ready to go. Um, and I feel like I can last longer. Normally when I'm getting home from work at 5 o'clock and working, a physical labor job, normally I'm tired. Normally, I'm downing coffee to try to pick myself up. But with this diet that I've been on, the consistent habit of, working out every day, getting that cardio in and stuff like that, like you just generally feel better. Therefore, you could actually focus on the business. You could focus on learning. You could focus on being better. And it's definitely helped me so much and definitely something I recommend.
yeah, I also agree. I think even making decisions, you have a clear mind. You're in a better mood. I feel like you're just sharper. You're not clouded. You always hear that saying, "You are what you eat," and I think it's really
Hmm.
true, man. Like, you look at a lot of people that are probably unhappy. They probably don't even have a hustle, right? They're not even reselling because it takes a special person to resell, to even wanting to do more than what you're already doing in life. And I think, it's just, for people out there that maybe are on the fence or thinking about, like, man, should I change my diet? Should I start doing meditation? So I start reading books. For me, since I do a lot of driving, AJ, in between, if I get a chance or on my way home or in the morning, I'll talk to some people, some resellers, or sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to like some motivational speaking. I might listen to an audio book, but I think it's always surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded with you, so you can achieve the goals that you want. Because I always have this saying, coals that remain together stay hot. You take that coal out, it's just gonna simmer down. So
Hmm.
do you do you have like any accountability with any other resellers, or is there anybody that maybe mentors you or kind of guides you in this reselling game?
So I recently just acquired a relationship with one of the guys. His name's Zach. I'm drawing a blank on his Instagram right now, but he's kind of active in the whole reselling community. He's the one that actually told me about the motto of eBay to Amazon flips. And so me and him kind of chit chat here and there. We called once to, I had questions about the business and things I may be able to get better on, or just get some insight from him. So he's been a great help. We kind of go back and forth when we post each other's stories and stuff like that. Good
Yeah.
job, yada yada yada. So he's been great impact on my business and my life. Other than that, the software developer from the software that I use, LaCroix, he's helped out a little bit. I've chatted with him a little bit, not deeply, but just seeing his potential with the business that he's doing, I definitely holds me accountable. And then I just purchased a wholesale program. So and they do kind of mentoring and stuff like that. So I haven't really talked one-on-one with them, but they have their courses where they have their learnings and teachings and stuff like that. And so there's a Facebook group that we kind of chat together with, but as much as maybe like close by or anything like that, no. It's really just those guys, and then a lot of podcasts, a lot of motivational videos, books, stuff like that.
Yeah. Who are some of your like favorite motivational speakers?
So as far as like actual motivational speakers, I couldn't tell you. I think I listen more of like businessmen. So Tom Bilyeu, the man,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his impact theory YouTube and stuff like that is great. He brings on a lot of good people. Really gets to the point of like, how can what this person's doing, how this person went through the life, how can the normal person that wants to do better, that wants more for themselves, how can they get what that that person is trying to tell them, or trying to give them insight about. Like, he's really about the everyday people. And so I've learned a crap ton about just watching his. So I think I probably watched at least 30. So like I'm back
Yeah.
like 2 years from now, like just watching all his stuff. Just really good. So I just try
Yeah.
to always keep that. I try not to. I'll catch myself sometimes listening to the same song a couple times or same albums, and I'll be like, okay, let's get a podcast in, or something new,
Yeah.
something fresh, something I could learn from. And I highly recommend someone finds that person, finds that entrepreneur or mentor or something like that. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great people out there. There's influencers, there's resellers, there's Instagrammers, people on YouTube. I think, yeah, just find that person. If that's something you like, because not everybody is a fan of these speakers, and they might have their opinions. But if you're a fan, hey man, find that person and just. I think run with it. But just kind of like a funny story, not a funny story, but I'm a big fan of Tom Billion, and we talked off air about him. But he really, the way he does his introductions, how he does his podcast, like I just try
Yeah.
to become a student of his. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to be encouraged from one another, especially what's going on in the world. I think for human beings, we're learning off each other. We can always learn something, regardless if you're a veteran or you're a novice. There's just always, if you're willing to learn, you're going to learn from people. So AJ, you're working full time, you're a part time reseller now, you want to go full time. What is the end game goal? Where do you want to be?
So lately, reading some of Tony Robbins' books, he kind of maps out the ideal, goal planning, vision, what it is that you truly want. And so just recently, I've been getting that down with what I want. And so the way I was raised didn't have much money, worried about rent from month to month, food stamps a couple times here and there. So I didn't have much, but there's a couple times where we got gifts for Christmas from the church and stuff like that. And I think that impacted me a lot, just understanding that there's people out there willing to contribute with nothing, in return, stuff like that. And I know what kind of impact it got onto me about just being grateful and stuff like that. And so with aspirations of working for myself, with Amazon business, I want to create a high number. I don't know exactly yet. I'd obviously love to get in the millions and stuff like that, but the goal is to create generational wealth that I can take care of my kids, take care of their kids. I have a mom and a little sister that I'd love to buy a house for. I have, big, some materialistic goals, like a nice house, Bentley GT. It's definitely a big
Okay.
goal, but it's a sweet ride. So it's just one of those things. But I think the biggest thing that I want to do is just be at a point where I could contribute back to the kids that have maybe raised kind of how I was raised. No father, um, didn't have really a role model to look up to. I'd like to at least maybe be that, or start an organization that could help with those kids. So generational wealth, and then contribute, back to those kids.
Nice, man. I think I interviewed Matt Klein Hustled, and similar story. Not a dad present or father presence, and he ended up starting a nonprofit, and now he gives
Hmm.
back. And so I plan on working with him on that venture, and the shoes and all that, for like kids going through what he went through. But I think that's amazing that there's another reseller that I talked to, and we have a similar background, and it's like you can either break the cycle or you can
Hmm.
continue the cycle. And I think for a lot of resellers out here, a lot of people are breaking the cycle, man. When I talk to resellers and they're still grinding, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and they're packaging stuff and shipping stuff out, and then they're going to their job the next day and then doing it all over again. It's like what they're trying to create keeps them going, man. And I think as resellers, for a lot of us, it's just, not a lot of us, but for some, it's more of just a hustle to kind of pay bills, have some extra cash. But for others, man, it's like, like one guy told me, island living, man. Like that's the goal, where you just want to have so much just because so you're taken care of. So I think that's awesome, man, that you have that goal. And I hope that if there's someone out there that's listening and kind of going through where you're going through, or the same journey, man, like this is it. They can just kind of turn the page and just power through.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna have their own rough life and stuff like that. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
I know my point of view and my insights will only help certain kind of kids, but I at least want to attempt to help the kids that have gone through what I've gone through, and just to understand, like, life never happens to you; it happens for you. If my
Mhm.
dad never left, if I never worried about rent every month, if I didn't go through food stamps, or received presents on Christmas, like, I would have never been so grateful about just the little things that I have, and I wouldn't have this desire and this motivation to push so much. And so in the end, like, just the universe, the world, God, whatever you believe, like, it happens for you, and you learn from it, and it makes you who you are. And just I my goal is to try to inspire any of those people, or kids, young men, women, whatever,
Mhm.
um, just to know that there's a bright side to it. You just got to find that why, and find what it is that you truly want. And for some, it's just to support for their kids, and to others, it's to give back, to the communities and stuff like that. So it's just finding out what it is. What's your why? What's the bigger meaning than just a dollar amount? That's what's going to get you, far in life. So just keep pushing. To be
Yeah.
optimistic and learn.
Yeah, it's well said, man. And I think every reseller out there, not every, but I would say most, there's a catastrophic event, that makes us want to get a side hustle and then pursue that side hustle and then become great at that side hustle. Or for some, it's an epiphany, right? It's just like, okay,
Hmm.
a click, boom. So that was well said. AJ, where can people find you on social media?
So like you said, Instagram is Augustine Jr. _8. Twitter, I've actually recently just deleted. It was more of like, I just was on it for nonsense, nothing informational. So
Hmm.
really just Instagram right now. Don't really do
Okay.
Snapchat. So yeah, Augustine Jr. _8. And
Uh,
that's it for social media. Yeah.
No TikTok?
No TikTok. I know I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I'm sure I'll get into it, but no TikTok.
Hey, well, keep us posted at a reseller's journey, man, if you launch that.
No, I will.
All right. So, last question. You talked about your goals, the end game, but what do you want to achieve in 2020, man?
2020 is 100K in sales. Next goal is to hopefully profit enough to put in my 2 weeks, and not work for anybody. And I have one little smaller, um, joyful goal, and I've really never been like on a nice vacation like out of state. And so with my credit cards, I get a lot of points and stuff like that. Like, us resellers, we're always buying, so I'm always getting points. And so I'd like to take at least 3 to 5 days out of the year and just go on a vacation and just do something I haven't done before. Other than that, I do have a car that I've bought right out of high school that I'd love to pay off. So that's another goal. So that's it so far. That's the big goals. That, and I guess my health. I want my health to be back to the fitness and physique that I used to have. So those are the goals for 2020.
Take it easy, man, when you're doing those Romanian deadlifts.
Yeah, I need to. That's one of the injuries too, was my back, and so I'm
Yeah.
definitely being careful with all those workouts.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, not only to meet you, but to see your journey, man. I know you post a lot on Instagram with your stories. I see them all. I'm a fan of yours, man. Just keep going, really, man. I think don't stop. And if people want to follow you on social media and get a little bit of fitness and get a
Mm.
little bit of reselling, if that's your thing. You're the right person to follow. So AJ, thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It was fun. First podcast actually, so I
Yeah.
appreciate that one. And then yeah, I'm here to give insight on just my life, and if it attracts anybody and impacts anybody, then I've done my job, and I hope you can reach out to me. I'm always open, so
Yeah.
slide in the DMs and ask me any questions, help, anything that I could help you with. I'm definitely going to try to help. That's what I'm going to try to do. So yeah, I appreciate it. This was
Yeah.
actually a good time, and I think this is the first time I've actually been able to just speak up about all my other goals and ambitions and my
Yeah.
path that I want to get onto. So it feels good, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. I think this is the first time, that we really talk about just the mindset, the meditation, the health, the preparation. And, every reseller is different, every journey is different. So, with your history and your passion being weightlifting and health, you kind of, you bring in both of them, to the reselling game. So, no, man, I'm very excited and thank you for being on the show. Also, want to thank the audience for tuning in. You can find today's guest on Instagram at Augustine Jr. _8. You can visit the show's website at aresellersjourney.com, where you can find a link to my Instagram at eBay Joey and a reseller's journey. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and remember, never forget why you started. Peace.
Peace.